that it will become profitable throughout the course of today and the unfolding days of this week. This is our prayer, for we ask it through Jesus Christ, our Lord, and we all say, Amen and Amen. Brothers and sisters, it's always a pleasure to be here at my neighborhood church, Barbican Baptist. And when I came in, I found my eyes drawn to the upper left of the sanctuary. Because when I was here earlier this year, that was not there. But that is there. Congratulations. I see that not only are you celebrating 100 years, but you are being practical in the celebration. Give God praise. I want to share an unusual sermon against the backdrop of the theme that we are focusing on today, because the essence of our focus is worship. But I want to suggest that if we are going to worship God, then one of the things that must happen is that we must understand the God we are worshiping. Amen? Because so often we worship a God of our own mental construct and not the God of the Bible. That's one of the things that I found coming out as we sat in our various groups. One of the things that ought to be driving prayer. If we really understood, and I must confess I'm guilty of this, if we really understood who God is, if we really understand who God is, the moment we encounter problems, our instinctive response will be go to Him. It's interesting that one of the reasons I believe God says we ought to be like little children is when a child gets hurt, wherever he or she is, within the earshot of mommy or daddy, the instinctive response is not to say dial 119 or 911, but the person's child screams for mommy or daddy. And I believe that's where God wants us to be in the days ahead. That whatever is happening in our life, our first response ought to be to call on our God. This is what Hezekiah did as we saw it, and we saw what came out of our reflection in 2 Kings and the practical steps that were taken by the church as we looked at James and also in Ephesians. This morning, I want us, as you saw on the screen, to look at this whole matter of our problems. And what does this have to do with God? Because I believe if we understand how God is at work in all the situations of our life, especially those situations and circumstances that we would rather not have, I believe it will really strengthen our dependence on it and our understanding of Him. And so I wanted to hear, brothers and sisters, first and foremost, that God is far more interested in your character and my character rather than our comfort. I need to say that again. God is far more interested in building Christ-like character in me and in you than simply your creature comforts. And so He's not afraid from time to time to build Christ-like character, to allow you to go through some stuff. Romans 8:28 is one of my favorite verses, and we love to quote it. All things work together for what? To them that what? And to those who are called according to His what? Here's the thing with that verse though. You and I love to quote it when we're using it to help somebody who's going through a long time. And when you and I are going through a particular issue, you don't want to hear that verse at that point in time when we need to hear it. Wise man of God says, and as we look at this whole matter of our problems and God's purpose, is that life is a series of problem-solving opportunities. I want you to hear that again, church. Life is a series of problem-solving opportunities. What is he talking about? Here is what... Thank you very much, sister. You just solved that problem right away. See what I mean? Here's what I want you to understand. At least I know this is what I find happening in my life over the lifetime I've had so far. Just as I am coming out of a very challenging situation, and I'm getting to that point where I can almost look at that which seemed to have daunted me and affected me in a negative way. And I'm just about to step out of it. Brothers and sisters, along comes another problem. Anybody can testify to that? Yeah, don't just wave your hands. No, keep it low. You don't want nobody to know your business. Yeah, there you go. And so this is what the man of God is saying, that life really can be viewed as a series of problem solving. Notice the key word, positive word, opportunities. You see, when problems face us, the key to how we handle it is how we respond to them. And our response to a problem will either, 2D words, will either develop us or it will defeat us. The choice is yours and the choice is mine, depending on the response. Unfortunately, most people fail to see how God wants to use the problem circumstances, the problem situations, and it's not their afraid to admit it. Problem relationships in the home, in the classroom, in the workplace, in the community. A lot of us sometimes fail to see how God is using this person that you get on your last nerve. This child that you have been, and he's a big adult person, but you still think of him more as a child. Most of us who are parents know what I'm talking about. Right? And this child of yours seems to be getting on your last nerve. You have a neighbor, you are a Christian, and it's only Jesus holding your tongue. Right? And you can't sometimes understand why doesn't he or she move away, because you can't afford to move, and that's a fact. Unfortunately, most of us fail to see how God wants to use these problem opportunities to build us and to help us to understand him. So I want to suggest in the time we have 5 ways that God is, not will, but God is using the problem circumstances in your life. And for each of those ways, I'll be pointing you to a particular section of scripture to undergird it. And I'm deliberately trying to use ION endings so that, it sort of sticks in your mind. I was trained, as you heard, under Dr. the Reverend Peter Gar, and he has a particular gift for alliteration. Didn't catch all of it, but I tried. The first one, then, master control. Let's bring up the first one on the screen for me. Thank you. God uses problems for what, everyone? Direction. God uses problems for direction. Bring up the scripture so we have chapter and verse. I'm a King James man, so pray for me. One day I'll be converted. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil. So do stripes the inward parts of the belly. What am I talking about there? And what do we mean that God uses problems for direction? Brothers and sisters, there is a path that God has for your life, just as so there's a path collectively that he has for a church, a path that he has for a marriage, a path that he has for the family. And if you are on the wrong path, one of the ways God uses to get us off the wrong path and on the right path is difficulties and difficult people and difficult circumstances. Brothers and sisters, sometimes God must light a fire. We say in Jamaica, on their what tail? Say no man afraid of most tail, man. To get you moving in the right direction. You are moving, your life is heading on a path that does not edify God, really is not doing you any good, and you are stubbornly keeping on that path. And so God is allowing a number of difficult circumstances, a number of difficult situations. You see them as roadblocks, but what God really is trying to get your attention is to shift and to change your direction. One of the ways God uses problems in your life and my life is to change your direction. And so sometimes you have to feel a little pain to get on the right path. And if you can't say amen, you say ouch, and that's okay. So number one, he uses problem for direction. I love number two. I love number two for those who love drinking tea. Number two, God uses problem for what? Inspection. You see, before you bring up the scripture, the wise man said, people are like tea bags. If you want to know what's inside them, just drop them into a little hot water. Another way to say it is mash them contour. Right? Here's a question that must be asked. Has God ever tested your faith? Right? With a problem. What do problems reveal about you? James chapter 1, which was read for us, it says, verse 2 and 3, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, when you go through tribulations and trials. Why should I be joyful? Why should you be joyful? Knowing this, that the trying or the testing of your faith, God is using to work out a greater level of patience. You see, there are some operations in your heart and my heart that we don't always want to face. You know, those negative things about us that you and I work so hard to hide from other persons. But every now and then they come up. God is, really likes your good qualities, but he also wants to work on your bad qualities and my bad qualities. And let me tell you, he is not afraid publicly to give you a tea bag situation and to allow that which is in you to sort of bubble up. Don't say it out loud, but I'm sure there are a couple of us in this room who can recall a situation in public where somebody said something, somebody did something. I know it happens to me. I'm ashamed to say it sometimes on the road when he immerses me in the hot water of taxi drivers and minibus drivers. And I'm glad that the windows are up because I get hungry like Bounty very fast, and then you have to catch yourself. And it's embarrassing when you take your daughter to her work and she gives you that look, Pastor, There are some negative situations that come into your life. What God wants to use them to do is to unearth, to reveal to you that, Kevin, you have a temper issue. Dorothy, you have this issue. So-and-so, you have this issue. I am not revealing this to embarrass you. I'm not revealing this to tear you down, but to give you an opportunity for it to be corrected. He uses problems, number one, to change our pathway in life. If you're on the wrong pathway, if you're not on the pathway of righteousness, God is not afraid to use problems to get us on the right path. But secondly, he uses problems to inspect that which is in our heart. Because remember, he's after one thing, one main thing, and that's Christ-like character. Amen? But there's a third way he uses problems, and it sounds similar to number one, but it's slightly different. God uses problems, number three, for what, everyone? Correction. Don't want to say but we say. You see, some lessons we learn only through pain and failure. It is likely that as a child, and I can remember mine, your parent told you not to touch a hot stove. For me, it was the socket, the light socket. My parents drummed into my little 5+ old brain, don't put your hand in the socket. But I wondered what wondrous things they were holding back from me. And so I remember the day that I got that wire and I defied them. Because once you start growing, you feel you know everything. And trust me, there was not a so wonderful thing that I discovered. I don't go around putting fingers or wires into electrical sockets. I don't play with electricity. Because of the problem I had at 5+, I learned a correcting lesson. Bring up the scripture for me. A very correcting lesson. It's interesting. Here David, coming from Psalm 119, 71 to 72. I just read it as you notice on the screen. David said, it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might listen to him. Learn thy statutes. The law of thy mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. Brothers and sisters, when God allows problems to take you through what I call the tea-bag situation, and if you're not learning, God is not afraid to use problems to also correct what he reveals, he will change. Amen? So, if your path in life is not the correct path, God is going to allow problems to change your direction. If you are being blind to the flaws and the failings in your heart and life, and you are deceiving yourself, God is not afraid to use problems to inspect. And it's not to reveal to himself what he already knows, but it's to reveal to you, because we shall know the truth, and the truth shall what? Set us free. He then will use problems to also correct. If we are stubbornly bent on staying on that pathway, if we are stubbornly bent on hiding that which is within our heart, he is not afraid to allow problems to come along and to correct us, because he is a good parent. Number 4 is interesting. I remember the first time this was revealed to me, I began changing my attitude, especially when I was in the financial sector working. Number 4 for me, please. God, brothers and sisters, uses problem for. Can you say that keyword? What is that word? Protection. A problem, listen carefully. You might be someone here, you're going through a problem and you're getting all upset because as far as you know, God is not changing a direction, He's not inspecting you, you're honest where you are, you don't see it as a correcting thing that God is using, and you're a little confused. Why has He allowed this to happen to me? A problem can be a blessing in disguise. In the immediacy of the moment, it does not look that way. But it can be a blessing in disguise if it prevents you from being harmed by something more serious. I was told of a true story of a believer working in America in an office situation. And he lost his job. Why? Because his boss asked him to do something that was not legal. And he said, "Sir, my faith, does not afford me to do this." And so, well, keep your faith, lose your job. He lost his job. He was the main breadwinner for the family. It meant no that the family, for the season that he went through before he got another job, had to be living on savings. And those of us who know dangerous that can be, because if you live in a real world, just a medical expense alone can eat up the whole of your saving. And so as he was going through this, to be honest, he became a little angry with God. Where are you in all of this? Not long after that, he got a job, but something else happened. God has a way of just taking his own sweet time. There was a breaking news cast that such and such, let's Jamaicanize it, that Mocha, let the church say Mocha, you know what I'm talking about now, swept down on a particular business establishment, and our media get too modern, a little too modern for me. That you will see them parading away the people. And we saw that recently. Come on, somebody, you know what I'm talking about. And his boss, secretary, and the new guy that took over his job, they're all being led away. And it is then that he recognized, had I not had this problem of a loss of job, here go I. But for God's grace. There might be something, there might be someone, there might be a name, I don't know what or who it is, and you are getting all worked up. Just cool yourself. God shield you for something worse down at the corner. Right? Because He's not afraid to allow a little discomfort to ultimately bring His comfort to you. He uses problems also for protection. So He directs, He inspects, He corrects, and He protects. But the ultimate reason that God allows stuff to come into my life and your life is number 5. Bring it up for me, master control. Oh, baby. I didn't give you the scriptures. We're not good church people. Let's go back to number 4. Let me read that. Well, seriously, teacher, read the scripture. But as for you, anybody recognize that? That's Joseph. Joseph is now on, let's use a modern phrase, on top of his game. Having gone through the pit, having gone through Potiphar's house, that woman, wicked woman, ended up in prison. Now he is in the palace, right where God wanted him, not only to look out for that section of the world, but also his people. His brothers are in front of him, and he now has an opportunity to sort them out. But listen to him. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto what? Good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save many people alive. As a matter of fact, let me go further. They sometimes use these problems not only to protect you, but in the case of Joseph, it was an entire nation that was protected and kept through that time of famine. The fifth one, and this one for me is where we actually started. God uses problems for what, everyone? Character transformation. Let me say this before I read my notes. Maybe I watched a little bit too much TV, growing up. From when it was black and white till it all gone color. But I had this idea about Christianity and how God deals with you that was heavily influenced by Hollywood. And so, I figured, and I was serious about this. I don't know what the rest of it, but I was serious about this. I realized I would have a problem with love. And so this is what I expected. I would go to God. I said, Father, give me a loving heart. And then you know the Hollywood thing, you will hear something like this. Bright light comes into the room. Cloud like things swirl over my head. BAM! I'm now filled with love. So you're laughing, but it's so you think. You know, watch TV. But when you read Bible and you read scripture, carefully ask God to give you love. Worse, carefully ask Him for patience. Because here's what He does. You see, the moment you got born again, Romans teaches us that God's Spirit came on the inside. And my Bible tells me that when the Holy Ghost came on the inside, He shed abroad in my heart the love of God. So understand this, every Christian has sufficient love to share with his or her family, co-worker, classmate, and the world. The problem is there are some character flaws that are blocking the way. So when you and I skip to God in prayer with our Hollywood mindset and we're asking Him for love, He brings into your life someone who's not easy to love. So I have good news for some of you here who have prayed that prayer. You're on the right track. Yeah. Because until you realize that God, the master craftsman, is using this person to work His love out of you, you're just going to stay there getting miserable. Like I said, carefully ask about patience, because God only works patience in our life one way. Tribulation works patience. Instead, tell Him to give you the pillar and handle the keys. Amen. So problems, when responded to correctly, are character builders. You want to understand what we mean by that? Galatians chapter 5, 22-23 speaks of the various facets of the fruit of the Spirit. Christ, love, joy, peace. My favorite is long suffering. In Jamaica today, you need that. Right? And so God is again, I must say, far more interested in our character than our comfort. Our relationship to God and our character are the only two things that we will take with us into eternity. You must have a think about that. When you and I die, we will not take our cars and our houses and our clothes and our jewelry and all of that. The only thing that goes with us is who we are and our connection to God that pushes us into glory. And so I need to hear this. And so I must be careful. We must be careful as God allows certain things to come into our lives to shape, to mold, and to build our character, that we don't shift our focus from Him and begin looking at some of the material things He begins rearranging in our lives. Those of us who have cars understand a little about what I'm talking about. I remember growing up and my father, I probably got it from him, and when it was in the day, he took seriously washing his car on weekends and looking about his car. I had a neighbor who seemed to have had the same anointing, and as I grew older, I remember my mother coming out on the veranda looking and said, "Look at your father." I said, "What do you mean, mommy?" "I'm just washing the car." I said, "Look at the joy on your face as you wash the car." And let me tell you, God has used that vehicle. Well, He used to use that vehicle because He sent the owner for it. Yes, then thief it. And then I got another one. And He's using this one. And I suddenly wish I had the other one. Because the lessons have stepped up. Brothers and sisters, hear the scriptures. And not only so, right? But we glory, dear Paul, in tribulations also. Why? We glory in bad situations. Why? We glory when relationships aren't working the way we would all want them to work. Why are we glorying, dear Paul? Knowing that tribulation, there is that thing, worketh patience. And patience, experience. And experience, hope. And let me just give you a quick thing about this English word hope. Most of us, when we read hope, we understand one dimension of its definition to simply be desire. So you go to a restaurant, a new restaurant, and you read the menu and they're bringing the food, and before you start eating, you say, you hope it will taste nice. This is not what the Bible is speaking about here. What, and I guess newer translations will have it, what God is addressing here is confident expectation. This is not a wishing or a desiring. God wants to bring us to a point in our relationship with Him that we confidently expect Him to turn up no matter what is happening around us. So when all around us is getting, and we said in our group, getting, thrown out of whack by Zozo and SOEP, I keep getting them wrong, and the escalation in crime, and what's happening on Mountain View, what's happening down in St. James, and Tulare, Clarendon, and the stepping up of persons coming for the car that they obviously loaned to you. And if you're not careful, if you don't allow God to take you through the process of maturity, you won't have confident expectation. You won't be able, like Job, when all hell, breaks in his life, Job says, the Lord has given, the Lord has taken away. And though it pains my flesh, blessed be the name of the Lord. That sort of utterance don't come overnight, brothers and sisters. There's a line in the lessons that really spoke to me that our God will come through. It may not be a day, it may not be a week, it may even take years, but understand this, He will come through. So I don't know what you're going through, I know what I am going through. And there's a tendency sometimes when we are going through issues and our problems, we feel we are the only one in the world going through that. Understand something. Begin shifting your perspective on the problem, person on the problem situation. How do you mean, Pastor? Ask God, is there a shift in my path direction that you want to change? Ask your Heavenly Father, what aspect of my heart are you using this person or this situation to reveal, to uncover before me, so that I can yield to you for transformation? Ask Him, how are you using this situation, this circumstance, this relationship, this job, or the lack thereof, to correct something that is off in you. Lord, show me how, though I'm getting all worked up, that what I'm temporarily going through is actually going to be protecting me for that which is coming even worse. And if you want to use one single thing, Lord, how are you using this to make me more and more like Jesus Christ? Can I bring up the closing screen? The point, my brothers and sisters, is that whether you recognize it or not, God is at work in your life. Not just during the happy days, not just during the sunny days, those days when you got your pay on time, praise God for you, the car is running, the life insurance policy is paid, the house insurance is paid, and the road is saying it's on strong English pound. We tend to believe that God is working when those stuff is happening. I'm learning now that I'm a little older, that He does His best work in me and on me and through me when all hell is breaking loose. He is not only a problem solver, but He is one who uses problems to build us in Christ's likeness. So, is it direction? Is it inspection? I don't know. Is it correction? Is it protection? Whatever it is, at the end of the day, He's after one thing, and that's transformation. For Christ's sake. Amen.
Please stand for the hymn of response. Number 568, with your anchor hold.